So I grew up here in the Catskills in upstate New York, where we're in the Borscht Belt, where all the Jewish hotels, kosher hotels are. So it's only natural that I got a job as a young teenager. I think I was 12 at the time, working in the hotel business. And by the time I was 13, I was working in the dining room. So I went from pool boy to working in the horse stables to working in the dining room. And the dining room was where the money was to be made. I remember as a 14-year-old, I was making about $250 to $300 a weekend cash. So I was living like a king at 13, 14 years old. And when I went off to college, I found that I was reading my culinary book, my cookbook, more than I was reading my accounting book. So at the age of 19, I said, you know what? The hotel business, the restaurant business, it's calling me. It's calling my name. I love numbers and I love accounting, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a number pusher. I don't want to be in that business. I really have a passion for restaurants. So I continued with some accounting classes and that, but I soon switched over full time into a culinary arts program to be a professional chef. And from that point on, it was history. I was just trying to figure out where I could work across the country and even in Europe, where I could gain experience and just hone my skills. But as a young chef, I remember working at places. I always had a fascination because I was good with numbers, and I'm still very good with numbers. I had a fascination for the business side of this industry. And most chefs, when they go to school and they're out in the field and they're cooking, it's really never about the numbers. And for me, I was always intrigued about how a restaurant could make money, volume-wise, percentage-wise, and what dishes would cost and how much it would have to make. So I always had like that, that desire to know the numbers while I was cooking. And when I got my first executive chef job at 24 years old, all that math, all those numbers, all that accounting came in handy because I felt like I was the kitchen accountant, running spreadsheets, running numbers, doing inventory, running percentages, food costs, labor costs, doing my own budget, zero-based budgeting at 24 years old. So all that came in very, very handy, and I really impressed the general manager that I was working for. So it was just, the two merged beautifully. And from that point on, I'd worked several places, country clubs. I'd been the executive chef of 3 country clubs. I'd worked in Europe at a Michelin 3-star restaurant. And in 1997, I became a partner, managing partner at a restaurant in Colorado, and loved Colorado.